Okay, I now.
Oh boy, let's see.
I recently thought about my name.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it was based on a guy that I saw recently who's close to this, but it's different enough. So the name that I would be is Jesus Diablo, which I think is
Stop. Oh my God, you're on fire.
Jesus Diablo.
Anyway, we are so thrilled to welcome back. I guess we're going to call him our honorary third co-host because he's, been on the show so many times. He's the one and only Casey Jost, everybody.
Right. I love the dog remix.
Yeah. and that was on plan too, like unpaid performers, but it is what it is.
That's what it is.
They'll get their cut.
Hey guys, I'm so glad to be here. I always forget that I shouldn't eat right before the podcast because I'm going to get like all food stoned. Do you guys eat after?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, geniuses.
Typically. But what did you have? Anything good?
I tried. I thought of it like as I was eating. I was like, I'll go a little lighter this time. But it was it was good. It was like some chicken with like a kind of a spicy sauce and mashed potatoes. These are all heavy things.
It sounds really good, though.
Salad involved and shishito peppers. It was nice.
Wow, a light nosh.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, because I think last time you had spaghetti, which I was like, you were like carb prepping. Isn't that what you do like before a race? Like you carb up.
Load the night before,
load.
so that in the morning you have energy, and not like I don't think anyone's eating pasta like during the race.
10 minutes into the race, like.
Just puking, pooping.
I don't. That would motivate me to run. Like if there's pasta, like there's like pasta stops instead of water. I'm in Alfredo, like bolognese.
Oh yeah.
I used to for like soccer when I was a kid. There would be like the halftime or whatever. I think it was called that. And then everyone would eat like a bunch of like they drink called like bug juice. Everyone would drink like a bunch of just like sugar water. And then like eat cookies. It was like whatever the parents brought. It was always like candy and cookies and like sugar water. And then you'd have to play another half of the game.
Oh no!
As cockroaches, because that's
yeah. Clearly, Danica and I do not know about this because we did not play sports.
We don't sport.
We don't do that. Yeah, but
I won't say I was on the sports teams. I don't know how much playing I did, but
you sure were there.
Yeah, my mom, bought the uniform.
Then you're part of the team. Yeah.
Joke's on her.
Well, we kind of wanted to start by saying, there's been a lot to celebrate this past month. It was your wife's birthday and Granny's birthday, right? She turned one, Granny. Yeah. So how did you celebrate Granny's birthday? Anything special?
I should say Granny's my dog. If people don't know. You just said it was, and my granny turned one. That could be confusing. I know that it's only Casey Jost stands that check this out, but so my dog and my wife have a birthday 2 days apart from each other, April 18th and April 20th, and it was fun. I think my wife was like more excited for the dog's birthday than mine. I mean, it's than Granny's, but also mine. It was fun. It was like a lot of we got together with one of the dog's like sisters that we like are friends with, and the two of them like just ran around and went crazy, and we gave them like a dog cake. It was really ridiculous.
Oh God,
yeah, I never thought I would be this person, and I am 100%, like 110% all in on like dog posts and like dog love. I can't believe I'm such a dog person.
Same. I was shocked, and then my dog just turned 2, and of course we did the same ridiculousness, and I was like, who am I?
Yeah, I've become disgusting.
It's not disgusting. We appreciate it. I mean, because with everything going on in the world, what like we need is more dog posts.
Cute dogs. Yeah.
Dog posts are nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Today, actually, so we can't have dogs where we live, but today for like a good hour, I was searching for Cavalier King Charles and just like, just because I wanted to look at puppies but it's worse knowing like I can't have one, but what a cute dog, right?
My aunt and uncle have 2.
Ugh.
Oh.
And my grandfather and grandmother had one that was like everybody famously knows. The dog's name was Dylan. And it was like Dylan was trouble. I mean, especially for King Charles Cavalier, like they're supposed to be pretty easy, right? But they were pretty difficult. But Dylan like had precedent over everyone.
I feel like most Dylans do.
Yeah,
right?
You're right.
Yeah, McDermott. That's the only one I could think of. So
Maroney. Yeah.
sure,
I'm
that
just
one
thinking,
too.
wait, what's Dylan from
That's
Beverly Hills
Dermot
90210's last name? I don't know.
Everyone-
But it was Dylan.
yeah, we'll take your word.
That's a very one-name character.
Dylan.
Dylan McKay.
Of course it was.
I
Naturally.
remember that. As I was like, it's just a one-name character. I said the full.
Do you know the middle name, or we're just gonna skip over that? Okay,
I think it's Mick, and K is the last name.
fair enough. True. Well, Danica.
Well, continuing the theme of Granny, what is Granny's best personality trait? Because this is very important content.
yes.
Oh, I guess cuddling, like that's like the thing that we didn't expect from her, because she's a real busybody. Like she will just walk around the apartment constantly looking out the window. It's like we always say like, oh, she's doing her job, which is just to look out the window at the neighbors and sometimes make noises at them. But like she will just lay on you and find like the best position that makes you like so happy, and she'll just like come on your, like she'll just like lay on top of you or just put her head on you, like that kind of stuff we didn't expect, because from the get-go she was like a real busybody, like doing a bunch of things and like kind of nervous about stuff, so we didn't think that she would ever relax, and she does often, and that's the best part.
Is she a black lab or what?
Chocolate lab, right?
So
Chocolate lab.
she's kind of like a mutt, although she's mostly lab and beagle. Like one of her siblings, we're in touch with all of the siblings. We're insane. And one of them did the DNA test. And so it was like mostly lab, like 50% lab and then 30% beagle and then like super mutt. But I can't believe she's like a designer dog, but we rescued her. It was like we went to the Muddy Paws rescue, and we missed out on 2 dogs, and we're very happy we missed them because this dog is just the best.
It's meant to be.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Granny's such a funny name. People don't know what to do with it. A lot of times, like people can't hide their emotions, like if they don't like it, and they're like, "Granny."
Yeah, where did Granny come from?
Well, we always liked the idea of like, we always made fun of the fact that like in Peter Pan, the dog was Nana, and they'd be like, the dog will watch them, Nana, you know? And so we just liked the idea of naming a dog Nana. I think we wanted to name a dog Puppy, which was like an idea that was like, because we liked the idea of it getting old and being really old and being called Puppy. And then we were like, no, that's maybe too cutesy. And then we were like, well, what about the opposite, where it's Granny as like a puppy, and then it'll grow into this name. Like when it'll be old and it's named Granny, you're gonna be like, oh my god, did you name a puppy Granny? Like that's crazy. And I think it's good at both ends of the life cycle.
Yeah, I like
I
how
have a
your brain
friend
works.
whose cat is named Grandpa. So like when she yells at it in the apartment, she's like, "Grandpa, get off the counter!"
Oh yeah. Oh, that happens here. It's definitely a lot of like Granny, you know.
Adorable.
It's great. Well, kind of in that vein, but to kind of pivot also too. So we watched, of course, that amazing Instagram story of you reuniting her with her sister, and of course we heard the Sister Sister theme song in the background, and then of course my mind went, all right, well then Casey, what is your favorite '90s TV theme song?
Oh wow, there's so many good ones. So you know what's crazy is I always really liked the Smart Guy theme song, and then when I went to college, I met like a girl named Faye, and her father wrote the theme song, and I like couldn't believe it. I was like, not everyone knows that show, although a lot of people. So if you know, do you guys know Smart Guy?
No.
He's a smart guy. It was a spinoff actually of Sister Sister. It was like it was like Tia and Tamara Mowry, and it was I think the brother's name was like
The brother.
Taj Mowry.
Yeah,
And
Taj.
it was a show, and with another ensemble, and it was like right in that time period. And I remember being like, "This is such a good." And there was like, it's like there's like a rap component to it, and you wouldn't expect Faye's dad to do it, but he nailed it, and he's.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Yeah.
it was really it was pretty cool for me. So that's got to be my favorite. That's got a special place in my heart. And then let me think. There's so many good ones. So my high school swimming team, another sport. Watch out.
Wow.
I was not a good swimmer at all, but I liked the team so much. We had a lot of fun. And you know, like they would always kind of do cheers, you know, like just like pep things like before meets, and it always felt so. I went to an all-boy Catholic school, so it was just like a bunch of guys like doing cheers, and so I tried to convince them that we should do the X-Men theme just with our voices. And so we would get together in a huddle and go, da-na-na-na-na-na, and we did it, and like it felt so cool. And now I'm thinking back, it must have been even lamer than if we were like rah rah skumba, like because the like it's so nerdy to do the X-Men theme, but
it's 100 times cooler.
Yeah,
I think it was the right place for it because like any other swimmer kid was probably like jealous of that.
As they should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, this team's gonna have superpowers in the water, and then you just are like,
just like flopping around.
we try, we do our best. Yeah, like for about maybe 40 minutes before you jumped on the stream, Danica and I were listening to different 90s theme songs. I have to say, I landed on Family Matters. Really solid, very solid, and I might even go Dawson's Creek. Very good. Even though on Netflix, she did not give permission.
Is Sixpence None the Richer, Kiss Me?
No,
it's
I don't want to wait.
Oh, right. I think Kiss Me was just maybe in an episode or something. Or maybe that was maybe I'm getting confused with a movie, but a movie. There was no Dawson's Creek movie, although there should be, and maybe there'll be a
Where is it? Yeah.
I remember not loving Dawson's Creek because there was a character named Pacey, and I was Casey, so I was very much like, I felt a competition.
Yeah, as you should. So I totally get that. But yeah, so many good ones. I
love TV themes. I've been lucky enough to write a few jingles and themes for like other shows, like or podcasts and stuff, and so I really respect the art. And I've even had to do ones like that are almost like a pastiche is what's like it's like similar to a pastiche of those like 90s Family Matters and Saved by the Bell, what's the one with the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen? I'm blanking.
Full House.
Full House. It was almost like Home Improved House. Another good theme. But yeah, I love it. I have so much respect for those songs. They're like, it's like almost like its own genre, right? Like it borrows from other things, but it's like so cheesy but like good cheesy.
The best kind of cheese.
Melted cheese.
I was mentioning to Heather that my favorite one is not the good X-Men one, but the one that happened before that one when it was like the pilot version. It was like
how did that
X-Men, X-Men,
oh, yeah.
X-Men, X-Men, It was awful, and
it feels very Canadian.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it might be. I feel like there was like an animation collective that was doing a lot. Like they did like the Silver Surfer. There's like a whole Silver Surfer. Like one season of it that's actually really good, but it's very Canadian. And I was like, I think that's... Is that the one, the original pilot wasn't like a Wolverine British in it?
He's Australian.
That's it.
Yeah.
Very funny.
And then the girl who's Kitty Pryde is the most incessant, like, I cannot stand her. Oh, Professor! She's just like, she speaks like that the entire time, and I just want to punch her.
It's like,
don't do that.
It's like Snarf was a main character.
Hey, I like Snarf.
I love Snarf, but I mean, look, we need
he was cute.
We need some teaspoons of Snarf. We don't need
a drizzle, like a little snarf of Snarf.
That's
fair enough.
A Snarf reduction.
I'm having one of those next week. So my friend Jordan, and I guess we'll use this kind of to segue into our next types of questions, but he wants us to ask you if your fan interview segments are mostly responsible for keeping American shopping malls in business. That's funny.
That's so funny. I am always impressed that there are people at that mall, which is the Palisades Mall, but it's a wonderful mall. I'm doing a commercial for the Palisades Mall right now.
What?
The Palisades? No, not in real. Just right now.
Oh,
I love the Palisades.
Please.
I love that mall. It's got so many weird things. Like there's an obstacle course. There's a movie theater. There's like go-karts in the mall. There's a bowling alley. There's like breweries. Then there's also all the mall stuff that you're used to, like your Sephoras and whatnot. And I'm always surprised that A, there's people there, and B, so many people just know the show. Like, I think people think we might, ask people to come there, which I think when we first started, we thought we would have to do that. And then we just put up a sign with the guys' faces, and people would come over and be like, are they here? And I was like, no, but we can ask you questions about the show if you know it. And they would be like, sure. So it was always really fun to see like what that would be like. But yeah, I wonder if anyone was showing up for that. I definitely think people probably show up to like locations around the city where the Jokers have filmed to see if they would run into them. Mm-hmm. I think like after Impractical Jokers is done, I could definitely set up a walking tour of all the locations and like be a tour guide for that. Oh, yeah. That's probably how I'm gonna have
That's where the money is.
And I really hope that shiny hiney billboard is just up forever because the last time we had you on, we were talking about your ultimate punishment, and you were like, next week's punishment is tough, and the next week was the one with the puppets in the car.
Yes, really hard. So
now, would you still stand by that's one of the toughest challenges, or one of the toughest?
It's pretty brutal. Like when you think about like when you're facing an obstacle of just like driving for hours and hours back and forth through gridlock traffic. Like I really hate traffic. Like I'll leave very late at night to get places. I inconvenience myself in a whole other way just so that I'm not inconvenienced by sitting in traffic. I mean, I love music. I like podcasts, and I still just can't sit in the car and like, because I can't even focus on those things. I'm just mad. So that would be pretty tough for me. But in all time, I don't know.
Yeah. Cause okay, I'll ask, even though this is Danica's question, but did you write that song?
No. So that's
did it?
Yeah. So that's actually Joe Imbrugio. Yeah, that's so funny. A lot of people always ask if it was me. That was my, one of my best friends, Joe Imbrugio. He's we played in bands together growing up, and I think we had to film it pretty soon. So I think it was like all hands on deck, and so we both took a crack at it, and it was we were both like, yeah, whoever gets picked, it doesn't matter, and so they listened to the two, and mine was longer. Mine was like that drive cycle one is like 5 seconds, which is great for like the editors because they could just kind of cut it at any point and bring it back in. Whereas mine had it was like a verse, and then there was like almost a chorus to it, and then back to the verse. So it would go through those two parts. But at the same time, I think the other thing that like some of the other like writers on the show were like, yours is like a little too good, and Joe's is like droning and crazy and bad, and in a beautiful way. So yeah. Joe knocked it out of the park. But that's Joe Imbrugio.
Wow. But after they talk about the ultimate compliment, when someone's like, "I'm sorry, you're too good."
I was mad. I was like, damn it. But
fair enough.
I was very happy that because Joe has done other music stuff on the show, and that it's not just me doing it, which is nice. And some of the other writers too that aren't even that musically inclined have made other contributions to the show. It's just another thing we do sometimes.
Fair. Well, okay. So my friend Chris wants to know, they have a question. Will there ever be an episode of just reactions to finding out that people are on the show? And they also said they're a massive fan of yours.
Oh, that's so sweet. Hey, thanks, Chris. So I don't think so. Unless there's some like this vault of these reactions, because a lot of times it's people kind of finding out about the show, and because like when you think of like Candid Camera, it's like you're on Candid Camera, and they're like, what? Oh my God. This is often like once in a while the best or most of the time it's like, oh, you're actually on a show called Impractical Jokers, and they're like, what? Like, it's a little bit just like confused, and then it's somebody sitting there that's usually not one of the Jokers like explaining it, and they're like, oh, okay, that's why that was weird. All right. And it's that we've seen that, like, I mean, at least the crew and stuff have seen it so many times. I think in the past, we've actually shown a few reveals, or like when somebody has recognized the guys, and we've kept that in the cut, and that's because it was unique. And I think if that ever happens, we will put that in, because it's fun and unique. I've actually like when I used to do the stuff that was the Impractical Insider stuff, I would sometimes just to try it, go up to people and be like, hi, like that person was a punishment or whatever, like you're on the show. And I think people's reactions, even then, they never even made the cut for that, because it wasn't that entertaining. Like people would rather see what was going on behind the scenes and like talk to the guys. That all made air. Whereas like talking to a person and them not knowing or being like, yeah, it was fine, I just moved on, it sometimes can take away from the show. So I don't think so, unless unless we just started like really kind of going back into the footage and seeing what everything was. But so often too, we kind of move on to the next thing. So it would have to almost be like a release PA that pulled someone to the side to have them sign a release and then told them they're on the show. And usually that's just like, oh, okay. And they like just...
See, I think the thing that like I'm most confused by is that I feel like everyone on the show is so recognizable that I'm still shocked that there's people that don't know who they are. Like, where are these people? Where are they hiding? Were they in bomb shelters? Like, and they just came out and they're just like, what is TV? How?
I know it's definitely gotten harder over the years, but I always say, like, since we film in New York City, there's just so many people who don't even like own a TV. Like they just like, or if they do, they just have like a Netflix or like, something like that. New York is weird in that way that there's just people who, there's also so much out there. So like I have good friends that have really never really watched Impractical Jokers. They know who they are and they've seen it. I mean, they shouldn't be my good friends.
Yeah, I'm questioning their
toxic people out of my life. But I just think it definitely. I would say like the number has changed, but it used to be like 5 out of 5 people would not know the show, and then it was like 1 out of 5 people would know the show, and then 2 out of 5, and then so now it's maybe closer to like 3 out of 5 people that we interact with. But it's New York City, so there's always more people.
Yeah. True.
And now we've been actually doing more focus group stuff because of COVID, that we get people tested and we screen them and they fill out like a whole survey and we try to find out like what their interests are, and like they have to write down like comedy shows they like. And so when people don't write that, we know that, or if people write Impractical Jokers, it's like, oh, that we're not going to have them on the show. So that's another way how we keep it legit.
That's very smart.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
The other thing that I always say is like, or sometimes people at the end of it go, oh, I know the show. I didn't recognize you without the other guys. So often like you see all 4 of them and it makes sense. And it like,
Interesting.
Casual viewers wouldn't know just Murr or just Sal or, whoever the other guys are. I don't remember their names.
Okay. Yeah. Not important. Well, speaking of Sal, is he growing his hair for a punishment, or is this just a fashion choice? What is happening?
I can't reveal any details.
Okay.
Either way.
Okay. Either way. Okay. And obviously we're kind of mentioning that this season has been different due to everything going on in the world, but what would you say has been the most challenging thing about filming during this pandemic, or even like a most challenging segment to do?
Ooh. We figured out how to do the show relatively quickly in this new sort of, COVID world and with COVID protocol. And we got a lot of advice, I think, from other production crews that like, the director and people at those levels, could talk to. And so we tried to really plan stuff that was COVID friendly. And, a lot of stuff that we had planned for the rest of the season, because we had to stop like after, a couple, maybe 2 months. A lot of that stuff has been pushed back and pushed towards, to the future. And so we really tried to think of things where there's obviously distance, but you could still, work with someone. And certain restrictions have been like a little lighter, and getting people tested has helped too. And I think it really kind of opened our minds as to what the show could be. And it was kind of like an accidental evolution in some ways of what the show could be. With that thing of getting recognized more, switching gears has made it easier to figure out if people have seen the show, and pushing to do more of that stuff. I guess the hurdle though is it is more expensive to do the show because we used to just be able to get some cameras and go to a park, and there's no fee to do that. It's free. It's pretty much free to do that. You still have to pay your crew, and there might be a very small fee to just film like anyone would in like for like a TV show in the park. But for the most part, that was so much cheaper than renting a space and having people get tested. And like, so I think the financial aspect is probably the biggest issue, because to be honest, I think the creative has been great this season.
Oh, the Zoom calls, I was hurting. Like I was like,
too. I don't even think all 4 of the guys like were fully on board with that idea until we started hashing out like what could happen. because that's what you do sometimes. And then I think they were just like loving it, and that's why we really focused on like how they were right across from each other, like just making sure the look was right. And then once everyone got that in their head, it was like, oh, this is great. This will be really fun. I think it'll work. And I thought the reactions were great, especially the first woman.
The first girl, I was like, oh my God, she bounced. She's like, I think she knew something was weird, or she's like,
I mean, just like, are you single? And then like, is your mom?
Is your mom single?
Yeah.
Are you single?
Yeah, that stuff is always for me.
Oh,
really fun.
So good. Yeah, I feel like this has been the astronaut punishment, one of the best. One of the best.
That is one of my favorites. I laughed so hard at so many, like when I wasn't there, but when I watched it, I watched like a longer cut. Sometimes we get these like rough cuts, and I think the first cut was like 12 minutes, but the time flew by. It was so funny,
Yeah, amazing.
It's just a little bit longer, like in between the like interactions or something. But it's not a huge difference. I always say that like Mur punishments, I always try to watch the rough cut, because there's just like there's so much little things, so many little torturous moments.
Yeah. Whew, yeah, the season's been so good. Albert wants to know if there's any rumors of another possible Jokers cruise. And then he said he enjoyed your stand-up. It was a true highlight.
Oh, that's
what a nice
so
compliment.
Wow, you're the nicest people. Can I live in this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's so nice. So I don't know. I think the guys wanted to take a little break because we had done 4 in a row, which is that's the 4 cruises I've ever done. And I think they were kind of like, we want to like build up a little bit of, suspense, or if they're going to do it again, or just also the want for people to go on it. And now it's this legendary thing, which is cool. Like, I hope we do another one, because I miss that now after it's been, a year. Oh, it's actually only been like a little over a year, which feels like it was decades ago.
Millenniums.
I think because of their filming schedule and life things, it would be pushed a little farther. And I don't think they would even make the decision to do it again for a little while, because of concerns of that's jumping back into close proximity.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I think we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I've yet to go on a cruise, but I think that'd be fun. So
it's the best one.
I know I'm ready to cruise. Like, once everything opens up, I think I'll be good.
Yeah.
I've been a little hesitant because of the seasickness thing, but I hear it's not so bad on a cruise.
It's interesting because I like it, because I like the entire crew, like a lot of the crew is there, and obviously the guys and the guys' families who I know so well. And it's funny, my wife has never come. Like, there's always some kind of conflict or something, and she doesn't mind. She's like, a boat for an entire week is too much for me. But it is this fun vacation that's like, it feels almost because of that, it feels like I'm in college again, like I'm in dorms, like I don't have a wife. Not that I act like I don't have a wife, but it feels like I'm a boy again. A boy at sea.
Oh my God, I love that name.
No more.
A boy at sea. Okay. Casey Jost, a boy at sea. The Casey Jost story.
It's so good. I've been on 4 boats my entire life. That could be. They call me Ishmael, or that's Moby Dick, right? Is that how that starts? Okay, that's fine.
There's a boat there.
Danica, why don't you go to a couple questions down before we go to the game?
In this one?
Yep.
Okay. So, surprises. So, just a quick pivot here. Just curious about how you got started and involved with HQ Trivia, and what's it really actually like behind the scenes of that?
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I let me think. So there was a guy named Nick who was like one of the creators of HQ Trivia. Nick Gallo. He's a Staten Island guy, which is crazy. And I had known him through some mutual friends. He had worked for The Onion. And he'd done a lot of like graphic arts for them, super funny. He actually started doing these really insane vines, and they took off. Like, it was just like, there were all of these props, and like obviously in the 6 or whatever 7 seconds it was, they would just be like chaotic and like messy. And I think like he just always built up this resume of making cool stuff that people want to see. And then, so he with these other people, came up with HQ Trivia, this idea. And then before it even launched, they had me kind of come in to just do a test hosting so that they could work out the kinks. And also it's kind of an audition. And I had done it a few times before it had launched, or they did a soft launch where there was like, I think the first time I did it, there was like 10,000 people. And then they launched a little bit more. And the next time I did it, which was like a month or two later, it was like 50,000 people. And then,
is that all?
And then like a couple months later, it was like 200,000 people. It just kept growing. It was crazy. And it never, like the first time I did it to the last time I did it, it's so weird because you don't hear the people, you don't see them. You're just in a room with I was in the room with the guy Nick or another person that was there one day. And it's just me in a room in front of a camera like this, trying to be energetic and not knowing exactly what the response is or if I've said something wrong or if there. Oh, I also had so many malfunctions. The app would just shut down almost every time I hosted. I mean, every time anyone did.
Yeah.
Especially early on. But for me, I felt like I'm cursing this app. It's my fault. But I also like working under pressure like that, in those live settings when things are going wrong. I feel like I thrive in a weird way.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was just kind of a thing. I had done a few hosting things, and Nick knew that, and he asked me to do it. It's just kind of how this world works sometimes. You just meet people. I'm not even really a schmoozy person, but I just like to talk to people and you can stay in touch. And I'm glad that that worked out. It was fun to do it. I wasn't a regular host, but I was irregular.
Yeah.
Irregular. It was an irregular.
I think there's a yogurt for that. I love HQ Trivia, man. I remember playing that game and just coming down to maybe the second to last question and then losing. I mean, because it got really hard. The first questions are
competitive. Oh my God.
What's the first letter of the alphabet? And by the end, they're the quantum theory. Can you give up the first 20 numbers? And you're what? But I guess that's what it has to be. So you can't look it up or, But how fun.
I just remember it just took the world by storm at one point. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was I remember being so happy for them because it was just everyone was kind of talking about it. And I think Nick has kind of moved on to do some other things. But obviously, I mean, he's probably still involved in some capacity. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. At one point though, they were we want to have you host more, but Scott has a beard and you have a beard. So we think that people might confuse you two.
Okay.
I was okay, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I also say my name at the top.
Casey. He means Scott, right? He means Scott. Yeah.
I get it. We all look the same.
Oh, right. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to say it. Okay, so our final question before we go into these games. So recently on our show, we had Brett Azar, who now plays the Iron Sheik on the new hit show Young Rock. And he was in Staten Island Summer, which is kind of crazy. Did we know this?
I didn't know this.
Oh my
This
God.
is so fun.
I think you started his career. Yeah, I think he was a cop in Staten Island Summer.
Wait, I was a cop in Staten Island Summer.
Oh my God.
No
You,
way.
you could be the same guy. Hold on.
Am I him?
I know it says
I mean,
Casey.
you both do have a beard, so I don't know.
And I have done this podcast so many times, I may not even remember a time I did it in character.
Fair enough. But okay, so I guess the question is, and we know you're a wrestling fan, and we've talked about a couple of your favorite wrestlers before, but obviously, Iron Sheik has some of the most iconic catchphrases of all time. But if you were to be a wrestler,
Oh, great.
what do you think your catchphrase would be?
Okay, I now.
Oh boy, let's see.
I recently thought about my name.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it was based on a guy that I saw recently who's close to this, but it's different enough. So the name that I would be is Jesus Diablo, which I think is
Stop. Oh my God, you're on fire.
Jesus Diablo. I actually don't think that should be for me. I think that's appropriating a culture.
Okay.
But I think there should be a wrestler named Jesus Diablo because
Okay.
it's like heaven and hell.
Okay.
That was just my first. I was hoping that you were gonna be what would be the name, but
What would be the name? That was the question.
I'm putting it out there that somebody should name themselves.
I mean,
Jesus
I could
Diablo.
pitch you one right now, but I don't know if you'd appreciate it.
Yeah,
I was just going to go with Casey Jorts.
Oh God.
Casey Jorts. I know. I mean, from the
Yeah.
classic, the iconic
Yeah.
franchise of
And you-
talk culture.
You only wear John Cena jorts.
It's just Jorts.
Yeah, and then it's I gotta think of what Casey Jort's catchphrase would be.
You just got jorted. So I will say this. I don't think that Kmarts are like a thing anymore, but I used to like get, my action figures from Kmart. John Cena had a line of jorts. Like,
Wow.
I didn't know that this was a thing. I walked in one day and I was like, there's so many jorts. And then his face was on all of them. I'm like, he's a brilliant marketing man.
But were they called jorts? Were they called
No.
like Jort Cena or something?
I don't think so. But
If
they
my
should have
name was
been.
Casey Jorts, my move would have to be like, I hit guys in the head with like my crotch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And then and my catchphrase would have to be like, I'm taking you to Jort Dicks.
Ooh.
Fort Dicks. Which I guess is a camp or something. So that's what it would be. My name would be Casey Jorts. I would then like kind of, I guess, like face fuck and and then say, I'm taking you to Jort Dicks. I guess I would say that first.
Oh, I love
And
it
then
so
do it.
much. Okay, I'm gonna call Vince McMahon.
Okay.
We'll get him on the phone. We'll
Chen.
pitch this. He's gonna love this.
Chance McMahon, of course. call Chance. Love him.
Okay, we're on it. And then there's Tony Khan. Listen, there's so many companies now. They could have the opening for Jesus Diablo or Casey Jorts. You never know. But okay,
Back to it real quick. Back to Jesus Diablo.
Let's go.
I imagine the costume would be like half a luchador mask, right? This is not again not for me. I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm not trying to take some. I'm not trying to co-opt. It would be like half. Like I don't know if it would be two halves because that's something they do sometimes. Like luchadors will have two different sides. I think one would be like. I think it would be half Kane mask, like a mask like that, and a half luchador mask. That's Jesus Diablo.
interesting. Very interesting. I love it.
That'd be fun. Okay.
Okay, we know a couple of wrestlers. We're gonna have to get in touch. Jesus Diablo coming soon to a ring near you.
I'll cut it all across.
You have to.
Yeah, I'll talk to
it's your
Chance. I'll talk to
baby.
Chance.
Okay, perfect. All right, so this is a new game. I didn't create this game. I think Jude, actually, now that I'm looking at the graphic, it's not 2 truths and a lie, it's 2 lies and a truth. So I think we got this backwards. So 2 of these facts are complete lies that my husband and I created. The other one is a true fact that Casey has provided to me. So the way that this game is going to work is I'm going to read these 3 facts that Danica has not seen. Danica is going to pick one of the 3 facts that she thinks is correct, and then Casey Jorts over here will tell us the correct answer and hopefully give us a little story behind it.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so once again, there's not 2 truths and a lie. It is backwards. It is 2 lies and a
Lies
truth.
and a truth. So only
lies
one
and
of
truth.
them would be real. Okay.
Okay, so here we go.
Very
I'm ready.
excited in this photo.
Okay. Does Casey have a tattoo of Salvo Kando's name on his left thigh? Does Casey say, he's really 6 feet tall, but tells people he's only 5'11"? Or did he have a vampire-themed birthday party that was attended by Bella Lugosi's daughter?
Oh my God, I'm going number 3. That's
Okay.
the true one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mostly because I really want that to be true.
Oh, of course.
okay, so will you reveal to us what the correct one is?
It is number 2.
Number
False.
2.
It is number 2. I don't know why. Most guys lie about their height in the other direction.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I feel maybe like no one will believe that I'm 6 foot. I don't have the confidence. I've also sometimes will tell people 5'12". Yeah.
That is spot on. I
Not
was
a
going to say,
lie.
like, in the wrestling world, they always add, like, but they also wear lifts on the shoes sometimes. So, like, Undertaker's 7 foot, whatever.
Oh,
but
and they also say like from parts unknown, and you know that like they're definitely from Milwaukee. You know those parts.
All right, here's the second one. So, once again, one of these is true, 2 of them are a lie. All right, next slide. Okay. Does his family think he's only read 2 books, which are Greek myths and the Wu-Tang Manual? Is it he wrote a jingle for feminine hygiene product? Or did he go to high school with Pauly D from Jersey Shore? Danica, what do you think is the correct
Well,
one?
I'm down to between 2 and 3, but because I know you do write jingles, I'm going to go with 2.
Ooh, that was good. That was, what's funny was that was not brought up. I mean, like, I didn't know the jingles part would be brought up,
Okay,
but it's not. It's 1.
it's number 1. So,
It's genius that you even put that I mean, you
That's
had the
fabulous.
foresight
Man.
to throw that in. That was a real misdirect.
Trick.
Yeah, you know how we do here. So what can you tell us about Greek myths and the Wu-Tang Manual?
I haven't read a ton of books in my life, guys. You know, I'll write the books, you know, one day. I don't have to read them.
Buoyancy.
I come from a family of geniuses that, like, my mom and my brother have read, like, a billion books between the two of them. I have I've read, like, 7 or 8, let's say. But the ones that I've only, like, talked about are Greek myths and legends and the Wu-Tang Manual. And they're fabulous books.
Both great choices.
They're
Right.
great books.
Right.
Highly recommend. Also, you know, I realize that they're pretty similar too. There's the Wu-Tang Manual is about the mythology of the Wu-Tang Clan and all the characters. It breaks down the characters, and that's exactly what Greek myths and legends is.
Yeah.
They just break down all the gods and the demigods, and it's the same. Wu-Tang, they break down the main 9 guys, and then like the affiliates like Capadonna. You know, like they go into all that stuff.
I was going to
gods and the
say,
demigods.
there's just as many Greek myths as there are members of Wu-Tang, so there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and then the amount of albums and songs, it's the same thing. It's like the stories.
Crazy. Love it. All right, here's the next one. All right, so one of these is true.
I'm sucking at this so far, so let's see how we go. All right.
Did Casey do an improv set at Swiss Beats' 40th birthday party?
Oh.
Did he break both arms in a freak jet ski accident? Or is his dad's godfather the actual godfather, Marlon Brando? Danica?
Man. Oh, man. Oh, God. Let's go Swiss Beats.
Yes, you got it.
Did I do it? I did it!
You got it.
You got one.
So
1 for 3.
I have a friend named Cypher Sounds, and he was a Hot 97 DJ forever, and he's an incredible comedian, nice guy, friends with Alicia Keys, and Alicia Keys was like having a birthday party for Swizz Beatz in Dumbo, Brooklyn, and was like having a bunch of things, and thought that a good idea would be for Cypher Sounds improv group, which includes me, to do an improv set for Swizz at a big party where people are like drinking and like smoking cigars and weed, and like it was like people were dressed nice, but it was not a place where people are quiet, the DJ's just been like blasting music, and like Alicia Keys brought out a birthday cake and sang happy birthday. She sang happy birthday to Swizz Beatz, and then was like, time for improv, and it was one of the worst sets of my life, and probably my favorite set of my life because of that. Because, you know, it's improv, so it's like, it's never that great. I mean, it's great. I love it. I love improv. But it was also just the weirdest environment of my entire life. It was just great. I'm so happy it happened. A lot of people on the team were like bummed that it didn't go as well. And I was like, how did you have any expectations that this would go well? I mean, the deck is stacked against improv comedy at an environment like this. I had a great night. We danced. I was like we were having fun all night. It was just great. Like the whole thing. There was just like these celebrities there, like just hanging out. They just saw me bomb, and they were like, "I know what that's like to some degree." You know, it was pretty funny.
I love that so
That's
much.
fabulous.
And Swizz Beats, oh my God, like I couldn't even imagine.
100%.
Oh, so
Casual,
good.
you know.
Yeah, just Swizz
Yeah.
Beats. All right.
It was really, Tiffany. So it was Tiffany Haddish was there,
Oh,
and she came up on stage and was like, during the set, and was like, "Yo, Syph, what is going on?" Like, you know what I mean? And it was like, "All right, I'll like rock with you guys. Let's do it." And everyone like got like cheered and stuff because Tiffany Haddish was on stage. And then everyone kind of got quiet for a second, and then like started talking again. And then it was just kind of a bad environment again, because if there's so many people, and an improv show, like a lot of comedy shows, you don't realize like how much goes into like how they pack the seats and their clothes, and like everyone's got mics. And an improv set, like we had like those Britney Spears mics, but they're not good. They don't like command respect. So it was just. So Tiffany Haddish bailed as well, like right away. It was like, okay, I can't do this, and left.
wow.
But she afterwards was like, "You guys were really brave for doing that."
Yeah, what a moment. It is very brave.
How kind of her.
Yeah.
I like making a low light a highlight.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. What an optimist. All right. Here's the next one. All right. Okay. Did Casey perform at children's events dressed as Prince Charming? Next one is, did he have his car pimped out by X to the Z exhibit on Pimp My Ride? Or did he start the process to become a New York firefighter?
I'm going to go firefighter.
Yeah, that's true.
Two.
I mean, it's not as cool as those other two. But for my grandfather and my mom, it is way cooler. Yeah, my grandfather was a firefighter, and like so was like everybody in my family, you know, and Brian Quinn from the show. Like when we started was a firefighter. So it was like season 2 or 3, and and during like you know, one of the seasons, my mom was like, you know, the fire department test is back open. It was kind of like there was a hiring freeze for a long time, and they were like, you should take it and see what happens. I took the written test. I did very well. I got like bumped up to like a certain, you know, to take the physical quicker, and then put the potential of getting into the first class for the FDNY, like for the new hires. And I took the physical test and I passed that, and it was tough, but it was great. Really fun, like to work to do that. And then I could have done it, but I like deferred, and then it was just like too late. But I was working a job at the time. I mean, I would have to take off from Jokers. So I think I made the right decision. But sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, maybe I should have been. The city benefits, you know, the camaraderie. I have a friend that actually got into the first class, and another friend that got into the second class, and they are full-blown firefighters.
Do they love it?
Oh my God, they love it so much. It changed their life. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's a great opportunity that I don't really see myself doing it. I got it. Yeah, it's weird, but it would have been fun.
But just not this lifetime. The next one.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, if the comedy thing doesn't work out, then
I'd probably do Casey Jort's.
Yeah, start there.
Jort Dix.
Yeah. All right, here's the last one. All right, here we go. Okay, does Casey do a spot-on impression of Gilbert Gottfried? Did he once officiate a hot dog-themed wedding as a promotion for Oscar Mayer? Or did he help detain a suspect on the New York subway?
Nah, I'm going hot dogs.
Hell yeah. You got it. You really came back in this game.
You did good, Danica. There's no prize, but
I'm learning.
You know how we were talking about like connections and like, you know, I'm not very schmoozy, but like, you know, things just kind of happen. This is an example of that. I can't say no to things either is a big problem. So my friend Allison was doing this. She works for BuzzFeed, and they were doing this thing with Oscar Mayer, a promotion like where they sponsored somebody's wedding, and people like applied to do it, and the couple was awesome. And they needed an officiant, and my friend Allison knew that I have officiated people, like I've officiated multiple weddings. So she was like, "Oh, Casey will write something fun, and it'll be good, and this will help, and it'll be all part of the promotion." So they got me to do it, and I had so much fun. I actually had my buddy Joe Ambrosio like just come crash the wedding, and like we just got drunk all night and ate hot dogs. They had other food there, but it was everything. There was a lot of hot dogs. I had tons of hot dog puns. You know, you have to.
Did you go in the Wienermobile?
I did.
Oh.
They showed up. That's also, they talked to me that's a great job too. Next to firefighter, right? the people who drive the Wienermobile, that's a pretty good job.
See, I used to get to drive around the Red Bull car, but like that's not half as cool as the Wienermobile.
It's pretty cool. I used to always, when I'd see the Red Bull car, I was like, I'll drive that like for free if you just give me the car.
Yeah.
Like, most of us would.
Like Red
the Pontiff of Pork. Okay, that's funny.
Any company that wants to just like put their stuff on my car and to pay for a car, I'll do that.
Yeah, obviously.
That's no problem.
All right, good to know. You heard it here, folks. But that's amazing.
Yeah,
I would have a hot dog themed wedding. I feel like that would. I love hot dogs, so like, and I mean, as a Jew, I probably shouldn't have pork hot dogs, but it's okay.
They have kosher. Kosher.
You're
beef.
Right. They do have kosher hot dogs. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Oscar Mayer, I think does too.
Okay. Oh, Nathan. Yeah, I should know this. My dad used to own a Nathan's, but anyway.
Really? That's
pretty
God.
Cool. Yeah, it was awesome. Oh yeah, the best. And then he. It turned into a Coney Island hot dogs, which I'm not sure like if those are as much of a franchise. Danica, do you remember this? We used to.
I remember working that stand.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Free soda, free hot dogs is amazing.
That's
Oh yeah, egg creams I think they were called. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so good. But Casey, do we have time to play a quick game of Would You Rather?
100%.
Okay, we know you're fed, so you're ready for the race.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so would you rather, Danica? You want to take it away?
Walk everywhere you go with your feet tied together, or eat every meal with your hands tied back.
So I have to have my hands tied as I sit to eat.
Yes.
Or walk everywhere. I think I go eat every meal with my hands tied behind my back. I think the other one always is inconvenience for life. Whereas every meal, hands tied to your back, is tough every time I eat, but it's like, and the way I eat too, it's basically 10 to 15 minutes. I mean, it's tough. There's certain situations that I would go to that would be, but I'm sure I'm allowed to explain it, much like I'd have to explain to people that I walk everywhere with my feet tied together. That's I'm going hands tied behind my back for those reasons. Okay. Final answer.
Okay. Final answer. Boop. Yeah. Soup would be tough. And like a filet mignon. How?
I know.
You'd have to limit your food.
I know. I'm hoping it's a lot of work for Lisa to like cut my meat.
Listen, for better or for worse, that's what Lisa signed up for, you know?
There you go.
Yeah. I'm imagining, I go to a birthday party for Swizz Beats and it's like, it's time to like redeem myself. And then I sit down and then I'm eating with my mouth and it's tough.
Well, okay.
They're like, okay, this is strike 2.
So much. All right. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather wear clothes 1 size too small or wear shoes 3 sizes too big?
Ooh, wow. Another issue here because walking it makes it tough. Clothes 1 size too small. Interesting. I mean, there are times, like I grew up in the skinny jeans phase, so I don't know. I think if it's anything like that, I'm leaning towards that because all my shoes being 3 sizes. So, all right. So that would be, are we talking half sizes or full?
Well, I was going to give you a life hack. Okay. Because I have very small feet. So like I have to wear shoes bigger than I normally would. Lots of socks. You stuff them with socks.
Okay.
Did you think about this? We could,
No, that's huge.
But it's still, when you're not used to it,
it's not comfortable.
Probably feel like, scuba flippers, I would imagine.
I think I know, but I think now I'm convinced. I think wearing shoes, because like, even if it would be like sandals that are too big, you're still like, I would almost rather, I know this is not it, but I'd almost rather my shoes or sandals be bigger than smaller. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a few ways around that, whereas there's not that much around the size, the too small.
Right.
Even though it's just 1 size, it's just,
It's that little level of uncomfortability, yeah.
Always.
Constant discomfort.
Yeah, and
it's probably your underwear too.
Probably. It's everything. Yeah. Hat.
Oh man.
A tight hat. But I was going to say, we can get some gel inserts, Those are a thing.
I'm about it. I think I'm going shoes now. Thank you for that life hack.
You're so welcome. That's what I'm here for. Wow. All right. Danica, next one.
Next one. All right. Would you rather have a pet mongoose or have a pet goose?
Ooh. My instinct is goose. I don't know why. That feels so much easier. I love a goose.
They are assholes.
They are.
Yeah, right.
But is a mongoose dangerous?
If you're a cobra, yeah.
Yeah, true.
And I am.
They're basically ferrets. They're like the same thing as a mink, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
I imagine they're.
I'm still leaning towards goose, just because I don't know enough about mongoose. So mongoose are an animal I don't know too much about. So I'm going to go with a pet goose.
You look like a goose guy to me. I would peg you as a goose guy,
I would throw a leash on that
Walking
baby.
goose, yeah.
I'd have Granny
harness.
and a goose.
Granny and Goose.
I'd maybe call the goose
Sitcom.
Poppy, so it'd be like Granny and Poppy.
Oh my god, that's a sitcom.
That's sweet.
You can write a song for that. Pitch it to Tru TV. I'm loving it.
There's even a dog in this picture. Although I know Granny goes after birds, so this goose Poppy wouldn't last long.
Poor Poppy.
Yeah.
All right, here's the next one. Would you rather? Ooh, have all of your favorite songs have a polka backing track, or all of your favorite songs played at double speed?
Ooh, I think polka backing track is my jam.
Weird
I don't
Al,
think
right?
I would hate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Weird Al.
it would probably like be annoying after like later on, but for the first time or for the first couple times I listened to him, I'm kind of like, well, it's still the song. It just has this thing. Whereas the double speed is instantly annoying.
So let's see. What song would be really fun to be polka-fied that Weird Al hasn't done? Because he's
My
done a
first
lot.
thing that came to mind was for a song was like Hotline Bling. Just feels like it would be a good polka song.
Oh,
You
and
know?
I love that song.
Yeah. I think it would, I'm picturing like that Jack Black movie, The Polka King. He's like, I know when the Hotline Bling, like I think like all that
Yes.
it'd be pretty fun.
Okay. Here's my Hotline Bling when I think of Hotline Bling. Okay, and this is why I like it so much. Stay with me, guys.
I'm with you.
Okay, on Halloween, there was this guy that wore a pumpkin head, and he danced to the Ghostbusters theme song. Do you know what I'm talking about? And he was like doing the weird dance in all black
Yes.
with the pumpkin head. So I saw a version where they used Hotline Bling, and so now Hotline Bling reminds me of Halloween, and I love it.
That's nice.
That lives in my mind.
It's
This
not a bad
crazy
song.
place. It's not.
It's a hit.
It's a hit for sure. I think Drake he could be something. I think he has a career.
It has
could
almost
really
like a
be somebody
bossa
if he
nova
tried.
sample too. It's like that, like one of those things. So I think
Call me on your cell phone.
I think that could work as a polka song.
Okay. I'm curious to see if Weird Al did it. I'm gonna look that up while Danica
Yeah.
uses the last one.
All right. So, would you rather drive a taxi in Manhattan or be a rickshaw driver in Bangladesh?
I gotta go taxi Manhattan. I mean, instantly. I know the routes. I know like the routes. I should say. I think I mean I could pick people up. I mean, you get like some good stories in there. Taxi cab confession style. I don't know.
Great show.
Yeah, I know that I said earlier that I don't like driving in traffic, but I know New York City traffic so well. Like I know, I'm picturing Manhattan traffic, and it's there. I know ways around it. I mean, there's sometimes you can't decide where you're going, but there's almost a game to it. I don't know Bangladesh, so that's the first thing. You're also
Here, I
putting me, holding a wheel and putting my foot down on a pedal versus.
And if your
biking.
shoes are 3 sizes too big,
Exactly.
Right.
difficult. Yeah.
I'm already eating with no hands, so it's a tough life. So the rickshaw, I think, that's tough. This
In shape though.
is an easy one for me.
Okay.
I gotta go taxi in Manhattan. I mean, it feels like a rite of passage for being a Manhattanite. I feel like, I mean, not everyone does it, but it would. I think everyone's like, what would that be like?
Fair.
I thought about it.
There's also Cash Cab,
Oh yeah,
and you can do
I could host that. I've hosted HQ Trivia. I could host that.
look, and then you could also do just the 2 lies and a truth in the cab, but there's just no prizes. Because you don't get actual prizes on that show either. Don't there like checks in the mail?
You still kick them out if they're wrong.
Right. No, you kick them out if
Yeah.
they're wrong, but if you win, they give them fake money, and then they take it back from them, and then they
really?
mail them a
Like,
check.
go ahead and pay me for the
I think
ride.
your ride is free.
Okay. I guess that's a good perk. I'll take a free ride because it's expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, on that note, that was Would You Rather. And we've come to the end. Okay, Jude, final question. So there's a new show on A&E called Hidden Treasures, and Kane was recently on it, and he found his debut mask. So if you can own any piece of WWE history, what would it be? Ooh.
That's really good. Wow. What a good question. I guess it would be similar to that, it would be great to have Razor Ramon's first toothpick.
You know, it's so crazy. In my head, if you weren't going to say that, I was going to say that.
I'm
For
just
you.
like a big Scott Hall guy, so that would be pretty amazing. Or his first his chains, or his leather vest that he
Or a
used to
car.
come out in. That would be pretty cool. Oh, like the first NWO belt, like the one where they spray painted it, would be pretty cool. Trying to think of maybe a Macho Man sunglasses.
I would want the beer truck from Stone Cold.
Oh, that's great. The entire beer truck.
Where would I put it? like,
That's really
Outback.
funny. It's like so, like sometimes, like memorabilia can be like so inconvenient. You're like, what do I even do with this? No one wants to buy this. How do I even prove it? Yeah, that's such a fun question. I used to always say like I like really weird merchandise, and I always wanted like a Mets hat that was signed by Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys. Like I just liked that idea. I always wanted so there's a big rap battle between Nas and Jay-Z, and the albums at the time were
Cypher. Wait, hold on. What's the name of it?
Ether.
Okay.
So they had an album, Blueprint and Stillmatic, were the two albums that like had those diss tracks. So I wanted a signed version of Blueprint signed by Nas. And Stillmatic, the Nas album, signed by Jay-Z. I was like, that would be worth, if you had both of those, I mean, that would be worth, I mean, they've kind of squashed that beef, but like just the fact that.
Can they reignite it? Because, oh my God.
Yeah, I would imagine even now that would still be worth a whole lot.
I agree. I mean, I don't even know what the conversation would be like for me to get first of all to get in front of Jay-Z and then to have him sign Stillmatic. I mean, he'd probably do it just because it's like. What's funny is I keep hearing these sounds outside, like dogs barking and
it's Danica's.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting. Oh, you think it is?
Oh yeah.
No,
is that
might be me.
You think it's you?
Because there's also like motorcycles going by, but there hasn't been a siren.
Not a single siren.
Can you believe it? I'm so sad. I broke the streak.
I know. But we still have a couple more minutes while we're wrapping up. I feel like that's when the sirens usually come in. So I'm waiting for the sirens. That's funny. All right. So before we do wrap this up, we're going to go over our upcoming guests real quick, Casey, if you don't mind.
Let's do it. I love it.
So on Thursday, we have Amy Yazbek, who, of course, we know from Robin Hood Men in Tights, and she was on Wings, which is another great theme song from the 90s. Mm-hmm. And then next week, we have The Godfather. Papa Shango is joining us.
Amazing.
He's a WWE Hall of Famer. The week after, we're welcoming back Steve Gonzalez from Coast Nation. And then we have Tommy Chong, which should be real fun. Very excited about that. Yeah. Then we also have musicians Maddie Riley and Lonnie Eagleton. And then we're welcoming back from Cream Magazine, Robert Duncan. So we have a lot of cool stuff. And Casey, I'm sure we'll have you back again. Like, we'll chat. Tomorrow, if you're available. Yeah. Sounds good.
Thank you so much for having me. I love doing this. This is so fun. I'm going to keep thinking about that merchandise, like the wrestling like merchandise question for so long. I'm going to be so mad. I mean, I think my answers were decent, but I mean, my mind is lighting up. It's so fun. That could do an entire podcast of that.
Maybe we should.
Memorabilia is like such a unique, funny thing that like, I love to do these, like those hybrids that we're talking about. Like, I'm excited. Great question.
Yay. Well, before we do wrap this up, any final thoughts you want to leave with us?
If you want to steal Casey Jorts, you can. I will be disappointed. You could definitely take Jesus Diablo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the Jorts Wienermobile.
Well, on that note, we really appreciate this, and we appreciate your time. And since you've already eaten, now we're going to go eat.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll talk to you guys all soon. We'll see you guys Thursday. Be safe, everybody.
My favorite show.
That's right. Woo!